Welcome to a special edition of the Panther-Lair show. We have a conversation today with former Lincoln Park star, former Colgate star, future Pitt Panther, soon to be Pitt Panther guard Nelly Cummings. Nelly, how are you? Thanks for joining us, and how you doing?
Thank you, man. I'm doing really good, man. Really good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Now, we're recording this here. It's next to last week of May or so. Are you still at Colgate, or where are you at? With everything.
No, I'm at Pitt right now.
Oh, okay. Are you taking classes?
I was about to say, just got done with class and just got done with workouts.
Nice. When did that semester start, or that session start?
Last week it started. I'm pretty sure on the 16th it started.
Oh, okay. So how's it been so far? I mean, this experience of being a Pitt student.
It's been definitely a crazy first 2 weeks. It's kind of surreal because it didn't feel real until now. But now that I'm taking classes, I'm actually in the workouts and stuff. Now it's starting to feel real. So it's been pretty crazy.
I mean, you're a Western PA guy. I mean, I think you've been around Pitt. I'm sure you visited Pitt a lot. How different is it? And what have you seen that's different, actually being a student and going to classes and actually being at Pitt?
Yeah, I mean, I knew a lot about Pitt coming up. I actually had a lot of workouts here growing up. My AAU days where a lot of practices were here. So I knew a lot about the facilities already. But, now that I'm here, I see how much attention to detail Coach Capel actually had with the facilities and with all the little things, and getting a chance to be around the guys and getting a chance to walk around campus. It gives me that feeling of like I'm home. So it feels good.
Now, when you were coming out of high school, obviously you went to Bowling Green first and then transferred to Colgate, but take us back to when you were coming out of high school. How much did you get recruited by Pitt at that point? How much I guess, who would that have been? Kevin Stallings at that point when you were getting recruited? I mean, how much interaction did you have with him when you were coming out?
Yeah, honestly, if it was Stallings, I don't remember ever talking to him. So I don't think I talked to Pitt much at all at that time.
Okay. And then, when you go to Bowling Green for a year, when you decided to transfer from there, was Pitt in the conversation at all? Was that a school you looked at for that first transfer?
No, honestly, after my first year, I was before the transfer portal. So It was like, it was uncharted territory for me. I didn't really understand what was going on. I was just sending emails to a lot of schools, just trying to exhaust all my options. But I didn't talk to Pitt at all at that time.
How much easier is it now? Because obviously there's a lot of talk about the transfer portal. And the thing I say to people is that what it does is it makes it so those schools can't put restrictions on you, right? You can transfer anywhere you want, but it opens up the contact and communication. So when you went into the portal this time, how much different was that process from when you transferred that other time?
Literally a complete 180. It's when I first entered the portal, like I said, it wasn't the portal when I first transferred. So I really didn't talk to many schools, and I had to do all the work. Now, come this time, literally maybe 2 minutes into me entering my name, I was already receiving calls. So it was like a whole completely different experience for me.
And it seems like almost like schools do all the work now, right? As far as reaching out, like you said, you were emailing all these coaches back, and after you left Bowling Green, was it, I don't want to say easier, but kind of easier that they're contacting you this time around?
It was less work for me, but I would say honestly, hearing from as many schools as I heard from, it was harder because I had to really make a right decision for me. I had to leave out my family's views, really my coach's views, and I had to really sit back and say, what do I want in this time around, because this is my last year to make an impact on the college program. So what makes the most sense for me personally?
And what was it about Pitt that made the most sense? What was it about Pitt that filled kind of what you were looking for?
Yeah, so I tell people all the time, as a college basketball player, I've experienced every emotion in this game. I came from a situation where I was a bench player, didn't get much playing time, to role players, to star players on teams, winning March Madness, losing seasons. I felt it all. But the one thing I hadn't experienced until I came to play against Pitt last year was what it feels like to have your family around. And when I got a taste of that, it was kind of hard for me to really even envision myself anywhere else than that, because that was something that I was new for me. I hadn't experienced that my whole college career, and it was really, really important for me.
I'm always kind of curious about this when a guy decides to transfer. When did you start thinking about it? You know what I mean? When did you start thinking, all right, I might try and find somewhere new to play my final year? Was that something you had in mind before the season even started? Did you just put it completely out of mind until after the season? When did those thoughts first start bubbling up?
Yeah, so I was actually in a really unique situation because this year my plans were to go pro. So this was supposed to be my last year of college. I didn't take any classes last semester. I had an NCAA waiver because I had already graduated. So I graduated from Colgate, and my plans were to play this last season out and go pro. But for me, it became obvious that, the transfer portal and things that were going on, that I should at least try it. And after the Wisconsin game, I thought about it with my family, and I just decided, let me just put my name in the portal and see what happens. Still thinking that I was going to go pro, but then, situations came about that were just hard to turn down, like the situation I'm in now.
When did do you remember when Pitt first reached out? Were they one of those first, first couple minutes that you heard from them?
They were one of the first minutes. Yep. First 5 minutes they reached out.
When they talked to you, were they like, yeah, we saw what you did against us? Because you had 17, I think, against Pitt in the game at the Peterson Event Center. Were they like, yeah, well, we saw what you did against us, so we want you on our team now? Or what did they say?
It wasn't just like that. They're good guys, so they made some jokes about it, but it was really a different type of approach. They really wanted me they wanted for me to have the best situation. They knew what home meant to me. They knew the type of situation, the type of player I am, and how fitting this role could be here. So I think they emphasized a lot about that, a lot of the things that can help me become a better pro. So they emphasize all the right things, and being here for the 2 weeks that I have been, they're following through on all the things they told me as well.
We mentioned that game against Pitt. You mentioned the game against Wisconsin. I looked at it. I think last year you played 4 games against teams from like the Power 5 conferences, and you averaged like 18.5 points. You shot 40% from the floor. So you seem to do okay. You've seen a lot of different levels of college basketball, right? I guess you could say you went, high major, mid major. You've seen and played against a lot of different levels. How different is that level of competition? Do we on the outside make too much out of the different levels of competition in college basketball?
Yeah, I think honestly, at the guard position, there's not much drop off between high major and mid majors. There's a lot of mid major guards I played against that are better than the high major guards I played against. But for me, I think it's the athleticism, the attention to detail, and like certain play styles really to kind of impact those blowout wins and losses that you'll see in high major, mid major games. It's not the talent of players; it's about the mismatches on the court and how the coaches are exploiting them. It's a lot that goes into it. Just I say it like this too: 1% of college basketball or high school basketball players are playing at Division I level. So all of those players are good. There's no players on Division I rosters that aren't good players. It's just about opportunity and how it all comes about and how it goes.
Right. Now, also while I was looking at your stats, I was kind of looking year to year, your assist numbers. And I thought this was pretty interesting. You 1.8 a couple years ago, assists per game. Last year, 1.3. This year, 3.4 assists per game. What do you when someone brings that stat to you, it says, well, how did that happen? Did you have a change in focus? Did the coaches ask you to do different things? What made your assist jump this season so much?
Yeah, so the prior 2 seasons and this year, I was playing a little more off the ball. I had another point guard, one of my best friends, Jordan Burns, who played in the G League for the Maine Celtics and the San Antonio Spurs, and now he's in Canada League, tearing it up right now. So me and him played alongside each other, and I was more off the ball, which makes my assist numbers go down. Mm-hmm. And then this year, I had the ball more in my hands, so I was able to showcase more of what I can do as far as playmaking.
But then you still average 12.5 field goal attempts per game. So it's not like you didn't stop shooting, right? So did you kind of become sort of that all-around guard, shooting and passing?
Yeah, I emphasized it. I emphasized everything in my workouts, in the summertime. Like I want to become the best player I can be. So I do every single thing there's only so many things you can do in basketball. You can dribble, shoot, pass. So I work on all of them all the time. And I think just last year I got a chance to really showcase it more.
Sure. What do the Pitt coaches sell you on as far as your role coming here, about how you fit in with the guys they have and the guys they're bringing in and what role they want you to fill?
Yeah, I think it's really important for us this year to have that kind of piece, that point guard who can bring all the other pieces together. Like we have pieces already. There's already John in the paint. We already have Jamarius and Nike and all these other guys who can already play. So for me, my biggest role is going to be offering the leadership and the knowledge I have of the game, and really just leading these guys, and hopefully I can put all the pieces that we already have together and make us a very dangerous team.
Have you been on campus for a couple of weeks now? I'm guessing a couple pickup games. Have you been able to work with those guys a little bit, play a little hoops with them?
Yeah, we haven't had a chance to get a lot of pickup games in because a lot of guys have been in and out of campus, getting everything straightened out as far as living situations and all that type of stuff. So we haven't got a chance to really get a lot of rec up and down, but we got some workouts in, and we're working out every day, lifting wise, and doing as much team bonding as we possibly can.
Obviously, John's a big piece, and everybody needs to have chemistry with him. But how important is that chemistry with you and Jamarius and you and Nike. I mean, especially you and Jamarius. It seems like you guys are probably going to be playing a lot and playing a lot together. How important is that chemistry, and what's your relationship been like with him so far?
I think that chemistry is one of the most important things in college basketball. I think it's one of the things a lot of players and teams and fans really don't understand as much. Like, I think if you really genuinely love and have respect for your teammates, then can you hear me still? My phone cut out.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. If you have that type of love for your teammates, I feel like it's going to make you play harder. You'll die for that loose ball. You'll make the right play. You'll hold them accountable because that's actually the person that you really genuinely care about. I think those are the separators between good and bad teams. So I think it's huge for me and JB, me, Nike, all of the guys really, but especially the backcourt mates. You know, we have to have each other's back. Like, I can't feel confident that I can pressure the ball full court if I don't know my guy has my back. So I just think it's important for us and the whole team to establish that camaraderie.
You mentioned, I mean, the backcourt. I mean, you, JB, Nike, Greg Elliott coming in from Marquette. It's like 3 sixth-year guys and a fifth-year guy. I mean, that's right. A lot of experience back there. How big is that for you guys? How much of an asset is that going to be for you guys to have? I mean, you guys have played a ton of games, hundreds of games among the four of you.
I think it's going to be huge. I think when the games get late, it comes down to that a little bit. You know, there's some plays and winning plays that can be made that if you had that experience, you've known that you didn't make that play before, and that was 2-3 years ago. Now, when that play arises this time, hopefully now you'll be able to recognize it in real time and make that winning play that we need. So I think winning plays are going to be made way more often when you got guys who've been through it than guys who are just freshmen and learning, you know?
All right, last one, Nelly. And obviously, like you said, you haven't really practiced with the team yet, so you're still kind of feeling out that chemistry. But I mean, you saw how Pitt did last year. You know, they won like 11 games, right? Didn't have the kind of season that they would have liked to have had. Sell me on what makes this year's team, you know what I mean, better. Like, what's your optimism about this year's team and what they're going to be able to do, what you guys are going to be able to do on the court for Pitt this season?
I think if you're a fan that wants to know what's going on, just the guys who are on this team, they really want it really, really bad. Like, we're going to enjoy the process. We're going to take our time with it. We're going to make sure that we don't miss any steps. We're going to do it all the right way. And we're going to build this thing up brick by brick. And come November, when it's time to show, we want the Oakland Zoo to be there rowdy. We want the crowd to be rowdy, and we're going to come out and deliver. For sure.
All right, Nelly. Well, thanks so much for your time, man. I appreciate it. Good luck in classes and enjoy the summer. And we will see you this fall when the season starts.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.